Yeah, I should probably turn. Wait, why is that not on? Oh. All right. Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. You're the #1 fan. All right. I mean, surely, if anybody can make that argument, it is help, because of that one Milton stream where there was nobody else modding and there was like 20,000 people watching. But yeah, folks, we do have a tornado watch that has just been issued out over here in the Tennessee Valley, including northern Alabama. I am just technically, I think I'm just outside of this tornado watch. But yeah, you can see we got some storm chasers that are getting into view of some of these storms. We've got Tornado Paigey, who is back with her soon-to-be husband, Bryce, and also storm chaser Rob, who looks like he's dealing with some sort of car trouble. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but as you can see, we do have a tornado watch that's been issued here in northern Alabama for Florence, Huntsville, Scottsboro. Going into Tennessee, we're talking about Lawrenceburg, Lewisburg, Tullahoma, Winchester, Columbia, Franklin, Nashville, Cookeville, Crossville, Harriman, and then up here into Kentucky, we're talking about Monticello, and just south of Glasgow there as well. Hello, Mama Bear. Welcome, and thank you for being a member for 10 months. Thank you so much for that support. Thank you. Yeah, this is what it looks like out here. Not in Flatbridge. Hold on, I still haven't deleted some of this stuff. This is not Flatbridge, Jamaica. This is Dixon, Tennessee, which is near one of the storms that is severe warned right now. The storm is warned for 1 inch hail and 60 mile-per-hour winds. Let's go ahead and listen in for a second. This is Tornado Paigey and Bryce. Hey, welcome, Lynx. Welcome. Thank you for being a member for 13 friggin' months.
Just joining us, we are in the tornado watch.
There's a storm right there in front of us.
Yes.
We're just west of
Yeah, look at that storm. Definitely some dark and gloomy skies out there.
Looks super cellular to me.
So the storm that they are talking about and that we're looking at right now is this storm back over here. So this is near Dixon, what am I saying? Dixon, Tennessee. But yeah, as you can see, Tennessee City, Van Leer, and also Dixon is also in this 1 inch hail, 60 mile-per-hour wind, severe thunderstorm warning, and that is going to be moving to the southeast here, and eventually we're going to see this make a close approach over there towards Nashville. Although it looks like generally that our precipitation is sinking to the south. Nashville's already got some rain and some thunderstorms. I'd be surprised if anything too crazy could make it all the way to Nashville, given that instability has been kind of sapped up by that storm that just went through there. So I would assume, just based on the atmospheric dynamics, that this goes south of Nashville. But we will see. If you live in Nashville, I would keep an eye on this storm. As you can see, it is somewhat close by there. Let me turn this off and then make sure we do this one instead. There we go. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, no problem. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome, welcome. Howdy, howdy. What should you be worried about in Wilmington, North Carolina? Not looking too crazy right now. Today's not even looking that crazy either. I was a little bit surprised that they went with the tornado watch, but you can kind of make an argument for it, I guess. It's just not a very strong argument. Let me get this set up over here as well. That, and we'll come over to here. We'll go over the latest details on our tornado watch. There. And then we'll go look at the mesoscale analysis just to tell you guys what I'm currently seeing with our atmosphere right now. So let's come, oops, there it is. Yeah, this is the latest tornado watch from the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center. And they're saying a couple tornadoes are possible. Scattered damaging wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour is possible. And isolated large hail events of up to 1.5 inches in diameter are possible. And that's going to be for areas out over there in southern Kentucky, central Tennessee, going into northern Alabama as well. We're talking cities like Huntsville, Scottsboro, Looks like Decatur's right on that line. Florence is right on that line. Waynesboro, Lawrenceburg, Shelbyville, Columbia, Murfreesboro, Crossville, Jamestown, Nashville, Franklin here in Tennessee, and then going into Kentucky, we're talking just to the south and west of Corbin, and to the south and east of Bowling Green, kind of in those southern counties there. So if you guys do live in these areas, make sure that you are weather aware today. Let's come over here to our mesoscale analysis and just kind of look at the environment and see what we're dealing out there. You know, we did a forecast this morning. I wasn't too bullish, and I'm really still not overly bullish on today's threat. You can see our lines, our little wind vectors here out of the northern Alabama going into Tennessee are very parallel to where this line of storms is right now. And so I'm not overly convinced that we're going to have tons of tornadoes, but we could get a couple of tornadoes today. So not really, I mean, although we do have a tornado outbreak, it's not really looking like you know, a strong tornado day by any means. You can see a lot of our tornado risk right now is not even in very favorable thermodynamics. We got about 500 joules per kilogram sitting over Nashville right now, where that storm is sitting just to the west of Nashville. Oh, let's wait for our screen to come back. Just to the west of Nashville, we have 1,000 joules per kilogram, which is kind of what you look out for. So a little bit meager instability out there. Wind barbs on the surface aren't super favorable, but you know, you go into the 850 millibar, just a little bit higher up into the atmosphere, you can see that we start to get these purples that indicates 30 knots of shear, and that's going to be moving into central, or that's where these storms are about to move into. So, you know, it's not super favorable, but there is technically, you could make an argument that some tornadoes can happen. It's just not a super high guarantee by any means, in my opinion. Our upper level flow is pretty directional. We don't really have a whole lot of forcing out here. You can see a lot of these wind barbs are all kind of generally going in the same direction at the bottom of our trough here. So again, like there's nothing really out here that's screaming outbreak, but we could have a couple of tornadoes. And that's why we have a tornado watch right now. You can see storm chaser Rob McBay is out there. He is a local in northern Alabama. Let's see what he's looking at.
All right, we're gonna put the boat.
Oh wow, yeah. This is. I think this is the same storm there in near Dixon, Tennessee. And thank you, Tabletop, for the $2. Can I break down Wilmington, North Carolina risk Sunday? Maybe later on in the stream. Yeah, maybe later on in the stream. But it's just looking like a couple of thunderstorms, scattered thunderstorms, nothing.
Cloud. We definitely have a caller cloud here.
Okay. Turn that down. He's talking about this potential little shelf cloud starting to form here on the bottom side of the screen, which indicates that you have some cooler air pushing into some moisture. Oh, wow. Look at that lightning bolt. And then that moisture rises up in the front edge of the storm, and it kind of condenses as that cold air pushes in. And thank you, Pebs, for the 5. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. That's a huge help out to the channel. Yeah, already looking kind of interesting out there. Not going to lie. Look at that sign over there. It says no soliciting. Probably a good place, as I think that's that's a good place to put a no soliciting sign, because I'm pretty sure that is. Oh, never mind. I thought that was like a jungle gym, like a playground. But I think that's just a gas station.
I'm gonna report it. We do have a wall cloud.
Wall cloud. He's thinking that we got a wall cloud. Let's come back over here. Oh wow, you got a little drone up there. When did Rob get a drone? We'll go back and look at that view real quick. Oh yeah, so that's what the storm in Dixon looks like from afar. Not really seeing a wall cloud. Definitely seeing it develop a little surge there. Some cooler air on the just to the east of center, and then maybe a little tail cloud. Not really seeing much of a wall cloud. But hey, if there's rotation in there, you can make an argument that that's a wall cloud. So let's go look at this storm near Dixon. There's some broad rotation. So yeah, you could make the argument that that might be a little bit of a wall cloud there. So nothing too serious. Let me see if we can look at this camera here. American Sign and Signal Corporation. Yeah, I don't think we can look at that. But we do have a camera out over here near Dixon. And again, for Dixon, we're talking about 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is kind of the only storm in Tennessee that really has much severe potential. We do have a storm back over here in Carthage that also has probably got some pretty heavy rain, but this is not going to really be a tornadic storm. It's in front of our instability right now, so I'm not really worried about that too much for a tornadic potential, but there is definitely going to be some severe wind potential still with that storm if we can get a heavy enough rain to bring those winds down into the surface and out in front of our storm. You're a Madison, kind of want to chase tonight? Hey, I mean, if you know what you're doing, have fun. This is kind of the storm you want to chase because it's not going to be like a super dangerous day. You can see a lot of cool stuff and you know, not really be too much in danger from time to time. That might ramp up every now and then.
Is that a tornado?
What?
It's trying, guys. It's really trying.
I don't see anything. He must be looking at his drone. Oh, wow. Look at that lightning bolt on the right side.
I just stopped a video on the drone to take a panorama, and the meanest cloud to ground lightning strike just happened.
I think Paris, Tennessee, your main threat has passed, as far as I can tell. It looks like most of the strongest storms are to your east. You guys did have some storms come through there earlier. I think that was your main threat of the day. I wouldn't completely rule out some storms forming later on. Let me make sure I have radar Omega up here as well. What in the heck? Okay. What's new? Looks like radar Omega just got an update. Update, we are continuing. International Storm Track Tool. Canadian weather alerts. Okay. Wow, that's a lot there. Not going to go over all of that. What happened to my settings is what I'm really worried about. And we do gray presentation on this channel. Okay, they changed some things up, but the models will still be there. All right. So this is kind of what we're looking at for the rest of the day. We're gonna have a couple of cells try to fire over here near Nashville. And those are the ones that we're tracking right now near Dixon. Those are going to move off to the east, more into a line segment by 6 p.m. And then we could have some more cells that are developed by around 8 p.m. But, you know, these really shouldn't be tornadic. Our instability is going to be pretty lackluster at this point. But, you know, there still might be enough wind shear to kind of make the argument that you might see one or two things try to spin up down here. So going to be keeping an eye on these storms as they move into northern Alabama. But again, pretty quick hitting event up here. I don't really imagine me being live for very, very much longer, or for like a super long time today, maybe like 4 hours max. Wow, what the heck is going on here? Leaves flying in Dixon.
But definitely lots of
Y'all see those leaves flying? More leaves. I bet you those leaves are showing up on the correlation coefficient. When you get them straight line damaging winds and you're kind of in the fall period, when the leaves are really feel like falling off, you can get straight line winds, and then you get what appears to be a correlation coefficient drop, but it's really just leaves. Because, you know, all correlation coefficient drop is you know, things that are in the air that are larger than a raindrop. So it could be hail or leaves. Sometimes people get that mistaken and they call those little things. It's kind of hard to tell when you're in fall what's a damaging wind signal and what's, you know, a tornadic signal. So we're getting reports that it's definitely windy here in Dixon. Wow. Man, the traffic light was shaking back and forth quite a bit. There's a lot of leaves. But I think that's just because we're in fall. Let me just double check our warning here, make sure. Yeah, I mean, we're still at 60-mile-per-hour winds, so I think this is still like your typical 60-mile-per-hour windstorm here. And we're just seeing more leaves than usual because it's fall, and leaves, you know, hint the name, tend to fall in fall. That's pretty interesting. Let's go back over here to Rob, see if he's still got a view on the leading edge. Okay, we got a view of Rob's finger. And don't know what's going on over there. Oh. Man, there's so many leaves on Tornado Page's stream. I think this is going to be a very leaf-filled day. Wow, look at that. Oh, yeah, it looks like Rob's getting some leaves now, too. He's getting into that leading edge of the storm. This is Rob McBay on... Oh, it froze, but look at all those little dots there. That's all leaf. Mother Nature is turning into a leaf blower today. Yeah, Rob McBay, he's live on YouTube. Guys probably never have heard of him before because he doesn't chase too often, but when we're in the Southeast, he tends to chase a lot. I don't know what's going on with my PC volume. It seems a little bit lower than usual.
Oh my gosh, Dixon, Tennessee. There is a howl. There is a howl, but I can't open my eyes long enough to see if there's a tornado. Swirling rain bands right there. Swirling rain bands to my left.
Yeah, there's no indication on radar that we have a tornado, but
kind of sketched out right now. Oh, it's so cold.
sometimes the winds swirl on the leading edge. Doesn't necessarily mean a tornado there, but there's definitely some stronger winds coming to Dixon right now. And as far as I could tell, not really seeing any tornadic signature. Here's our leading edge of our storm here. We would look for a rotation inside of there, and we're just not seeing that. All we're really seeing right now is some pretty strong winds making their way into Dixon, eventually going to be making its way into Burns, White Bluff, and Fairview after that. So lots of leaves out there and wind. Leave the leaves alone, maybe. That storm that's going to hit Whitewell, Tennessee is going to show. Is it going to be a show or something to worry about? Whiteville. Let me see where Whiteville is. Whiteville, Tennessee. Nothing around Whiteville right now. If this is the Whiteville you were talking about. There are some storms here north. There should be storms formed, but we're really not completely certain just how far to the south and west they form, but they should eventually be storms down here. Just not exactly sure whether or not it's going to be as it's going over Whiteville or if it's going to be after. I would keep an eye on it, but as of right now, you guys are not in a tornado watch at the moment. Oh, Whitwell. I don't know why. Okay. Whitwell. Oh, yeah, Whitwell is, yeah. Storm shouldn't be as strong. The environment's not going to be super conducive as the storms get there. You are in a tornado watch, so it's definitely something worth keeping an eye on, but it's not something that is going to be like a super dangerous risk. You know, I would just keep an eye on it throughout the day. Storm should be coming in late afternoon, going into the overnight hours, and that's going to be coming from this line of storms. But the instability should be sapped by then, but we'll be monitoring the trends throughout the day. Should Oak Ridge be worried? Let me check. Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Can y'all hear the music? Oh, I know what happened. I turned down my desktop audio. There we go. We're back. You have 3 people relying on you to keep them safe, and I'm relying on you. Well, you know what? You found the right spot. You found the right spot because we'll keep you in the mix. Latest scan out here, looking pretty suspicious over here near Burns, but that is still looking like it is out in front of our storm. We might be getting a little bit of side lobe contamination, but here in Tennessee, they do tend to warn these types of signatures, so would not be surprised if we got a tornado warning out of this storm here soon. But as of right now, I'm not seeing anything imminent in terms of a tornadic activity. Over there near Eastwood, you can see right in there, there is where that little rotation couplet is. But our storm itself is actually back over here. And what tends to happen is as you get a bunch of clutter and different storm and cloud heights as the radar beam comes through, what you can get is the radar beam will split a little bit. And then when that happens, the radar beam higher up in the atmosphere will be sending that signal back as if that velocity is in the lower portion of the atmosphere. So that is what contamination is. So what we're probably seeing here is that we have some stronger winds really high up, but not at the level in which these winds are on the backside. So they're a little bit mismatched, most likely. But we're going to keep an eye on that area. If we see these reds and yellows start to jut out in that direction, then we're going to definitely start to pay attention a little bit more to this storm. And this is where our storm chasers are. So let's kind of come back over to them. This is Rob McBay, and see what's happening out there. Looks like still some pretty decent winds coming through Dixon, Tennessee right now. Had a tornado watch in Huntsville, Alabama. Anything heading your way at all? That'll be later on tonight. We were talking about threats for Huntsville to be present right around 11 p.m., 10 to 11 p.m. tonight. And that's going to be the same timing for like Chattanooga, Knoxville as well.
What is up, everybody?
I thank you, Thumper, for the $1. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for your support. Man, there's some pretty decent winds here in Tennessee right now with this storm. Pretty decent winds. Let me check just to make sure. I want to get these cameras up on Radar Mega too, because there are some cameras that we can use. Let's see. We use this one. Oh, Zach. Oh, Zach. We got another storm chaser out there. Totally forgot about him. He hasn't chased in so long. Zach's out there too. We got all the Southeast gang. Let's see here. What was it? Tennessee Storm Hunters, I think. Yeah, his name is now Storm Chaser Zach. That, and then we'll put him here. We'll just wait for that chat to load there, and then yeah, no other cameras in this vicinity, at least on Radar Mega. So I just want to check that out really quick. You just moved to Clarksville, Tennessee. I hope nothing scary happens. I hope so too. It looks like these storms, though, as of right now, are passing to your south, and that just might be it. You get this up. Bam. It looks like service is pretty darn bad out there. Go listen into Pagey Tornado and see what they're dealing with. Again, all these shots are out of Dixon, Tennessee right now, where the main parts of or not, this is not Pagey, this is Rob. Yeah, and Pagey is struggling with service.
We're going south to 40.
Southeast storm chasers have been in hibernation. They really have. They really have. I mean, there's been nothing happening. Like if you chase locally down here, you just haven't really been seeing anything. Let's see here. Meant to send a message with that last super chat. Can you guess at if the storms will be bad in Perry County, Tennessee with this system? Let me see. Perry County, Tennessee. Could be. Just depends on if these storms that form a little bit further to the south mature by the time they get to you. But it's definitely in the realms of possibility that you might see something at least severe over there. Tennessee gets hit pretty regularly with storms. Not really. It's been a while since Tennessee's been under a tornado watch. It usually does happen, yes, especially when we get into storm season. But during the winter, it's also pretty common to see these storms as well. But it's like in relationship to like what we have been seeing recently. Like I haven't heard a rumble of thunder here in northern Alabama in a really long time. How does London, Kentucky look tonight? Let me check. London, Kentucky. looking pretty good. You guys should be north of where our main axis of instability is. I wouldn't be too worried. Definitely could get some like heavier rain out there, but not really talking about too much of a tornado threat. Just some annoying and cold rain for you guys. Tennessee had a small summer tornado outbreak, but it was only like 7 to 10 of them. Yeah, that's a decent amount. Was that over there in like northeastern Tennessee? There is some. Yeah, I mean, that is typically true, Lizzie. I do agree with you there. We usually get a lot more storms, but it's been kind of quiet for a while. It's actually been really nice weather. Does seem like we're starting to see maybe an inflow try to develop on our storm over here near White Bluffs. Over here near Burns, you can see we do have an area of some stronger winds developing there, and maybe a little bit of an inflow trying to happen over here near Baker's Works. There's something to note. Not very tornadic yet. Just some stronger winds pushing here, but sometimes we got to watch the northern edge of those winds to see if they're, you know, if something can spin up there. Definitely looking more supercellular though. We do have a lot of mergers coming into the south though that will try to disrupt this storm. So fingers crossed that nothing crazy happens there. Let me check to see if we can use this camera here in Fairview. What does that say? Fun Acres, a family and local community founded. Okay, so this, yeah, we can use this one, but I don't think got a really great view. I'm not sure how to get this full screen. They don't have a full screen option still in the WeatherWise app. So good afternoon, welcome. How's McMinnville, Tennessee looking? Let me check. McMinnville, Tennessee. Yeah, you guys are in the tornado watch. We'll definitely be keeping an eye out. You guys are kind of in that area where you're right on that line of where there's still going to be enough instability and not. So you could definitely be on the tail end of this event. Probably could see some storms over near McMinnville. Probably around like 8 to 9 p.m. tonight. So wait, 2D? They always have 3D? I guess they did. But yeah, sometime in around that time frame. Thank you, Thumper, for the 1. Thank you. Thank you. I think the 5% risk was unexpected. Yeah, I mean, I'm still not overly enthused. I think it's just, you know, one of those events where there technically is, you know, some environmental parameters there. And something could happen if storms line up just right. But it's kind of one of those environments that is hanging on by a thread. Definitely could have a day here where we see nothing happen, but we could also have a day where we have a couple of tornadoes. There should be 3 bars in the bottom right corner of the camera. What? 3 bars. Oh my gosh. You have changed my life. This is the camera out in front of our storm here in near Dixon, Tennessee. I have learned something new today and my life will never be the same. Thank you for letting me know that, Fusion. Appreciate the coverage regardless. Yeah. Been gone for the summer. Ooh, what have you been up to? Yeah, it doesn't look too interesting right now, but as that leading edge of the storm gets closer to this camera, we will definitely be able to see what this thing is about. And it is kind of looking like maybe an embedded hook echo there, but still not a whole lot of anything impressive yet in terms of rotation. Seems like this storm might be a little bit outflow dominant, but we'll keep an eye on it. Trying to see if we can get an updated view from our storm chasers, but it seems like they're all in the rain right now. And again, I do still believe that this storm, at least the main portion of this storm, should go south of Nashville. That is still my current thought process. So tornado on Friday, it's snow on Monday. Totes normal. You know, in the southeast, it's actually more normal than you would think, especially during winter. We get that instability first, and then that cold and dry air comes into the backside, and every now and then we get a little shot of snow. But hey, yeah, some flurries could definitely be possible out here, and then in the higher elevations might actually see some accumulation. So early in Dixie Alley season for tornadoes. Yeah, it is a little bit early. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. We also have another storm trying to develop back over here near Lobelville. It's trying to get its act together, but it's still a little bit of a baby storm. Not quite there, but it could eventually end up like looking like this guy. You can definitely tell that this storm is hitting some shear. It's definitely got that shape to it. A little bit of a bean shape right now. I've got to keep an eye on this storm. I don't. Yeah. Still no, like it looks mean and lean, but rotation's still looking pretty lackluster. Definitely probably some bigger hail in this storm now than what was indicated before. We're starting to see some higher values over there near White Bluff. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got a hail upgrade as this goes into Belltown and Kingston Springs. Probably like $50 to ping pong ball sized hail inside of our storm right now. We live in Northwest Tennessee, and you could see the lift on leaves falling as the storm went rolling in, but then nothing but heavy mist for an hour or so. Interesting. Interesting. We want to go check back in on our mesoscale analysis out here to see if anything's changed since the last time we looked. Actually, it does look like our highest shear is still up in this area. Highest low level shear is still up in our northern portion of our storm, but our instability is pretty lackluster up there right now. So a little bit of a mismatch of our parameters as of right now. That's why we're not seeing any tornado warnings yet. This is out just in front of our storm. See the clouds moving as that lower level jet in the area. Looks like Rob might have another subtle view of inside the storm here. Something out in front of him, but it's kind of hard to tell given the fact that the service is a little bit low, but definitely still raining there. Oh, Treasure Beach. Let me take that off there. So I haven't. We did a live stream for Melissa in Jamaica, and I still haven't deleted everything from that. This is so yeah. It looks like tennis or Zach, the storm chaser, is in Dixon, Tennessee. So happy to be using his stream because you know it was a very long time ago when we actually met online. Oh my gosh, that is loud. And he's been struggling to get a good stream working, but he's been working with Radar Omega and Vince Welty on Project WXI. And so his stream setup is looking pretty sharp. Not gonna lie. I'm proud of him. He's one of those guys that you'll probably hear about later as he continues to build. Yeah, so latest here, still some pretty strong winds on the southern side of our storm. Still not really seeing much for rotation. Definitely looks interesting, but again, you know, storm shape isn't what concerns people. It is the velocity data. And in our velocity data right now, still not a whole lot of organized rotation, mainly still showing some strong winds on the southern side, about to come into New Hope and Brush Creek, Tennessee. Am I going to have a gambit of weather? We are going to have a gambit of weather this weekend. I hope I see some flurries. That'd be pretty cool to see some flurry. You're in Northwest Alabama. Are you cooked? I mean, it's going to be super hit or miss for Northwest Alabama. These storms will either make it down there in time or not. Our current models are saying no. They're saying after Florence. So it looks like it would be mainly like over there near Huntsville and northeastern Alabama. But we'll see. You know, those are model runs. They're not necessarily, you know, always right. So keep that in mind. Is Rob getting another view out here? See something out in the distance there. That might be the back of the storm. I'm wondering if storm chasers are struggling to keep up with the storm. I know when it rains out here in Nashville, the traffic goes crazy, even if it's just light rain.
Go past this line, then at the next one, turn left.
And that's what the storm looks like. And thank you, Tim, for subscribing. Welcome. You're gonna see snow here. Where are you at? As of right now, the storm is in exactly 1,000 joules per kilogram. If the environment just gets a tad more unfavorable, the tornado threat's going to go like down to 0. That's how much of a knife's edge our severe weather risk is in right now. So the leading edge of the storm is about to come through this area. I want to see what the windy conditions are looking like now. DMs? Let me check. One-third tilt on velocity. Let me check. I'm not seeing what you're seeing. Was that a little while ago? You're talking about this or this? Generally, it still looks like pretty broad rotation. Maybe RFD surge. Yeah, that's what this is, help for sure. This is an RFD surge for sure. And we're about to see that come into this camera. Should be pretty windy over here near Fairview, Tennessee, and near Brush Creek. Or Brush Creek. Oh yeah, here comes the wind and the leaves. We'll see what this storm's packing now. Earlier, it definitely had some pretty decent wind. And you can see those leaves falling, but they're not really like flying across the stream, meaning that definitely just dealing with some leaves that probably would have fell tomorrow anyways. Your mom lives down in the sticks in southern Kentucky near Nancy. Right now, the instability isn't too bad there. Oh, wow. Look at all those leaves. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Hilton's Virginia is fine. Oh yeah, those trees are shaking a little bit. It's not exactly how you would imagine the fall leaves to fall, that's for sure. There's a lot of beautiful colors in those leaves, though. I'll tell you what, you guys must have some nice fall colors up there. Is a conditional risk really everywhere? For sure. But we'll see what happens. It's a tornado watch, so we'll be live until we can rule out most of the tornado threat. What's happening with Tornado Pagey? They seem to be struggling with service. That usually doesn't happen. Yeah, these are the conditions here on pretty much the worst part of our storm, which is this southern part where we have this little RFD, little bit of a wind surge here. And again, generally we have some pretty weak broad rotation. Nothing really sticking out to me as like a dangerous tornado threat right now. But again, if you're just now tuning in, everybody here in the black is in a tornado watch. So if you're in this little black polygon, you guys are all in a tornado watch. So just need to be watching out for some severe weather and the, I would say, in my opinion, small potential for tornadoes. But we'll be here. Leaves are in your gutters now. Yeah, you'll be cleaning those off of your gutters and your lawn for some time. Here's another view from Rob McBay, local Northern Alabama storm chaser, out on the beat looking for some rain. Maybe a tornado. Hopefully not, though. We're rooting against him, as always. We always root against our storm chasers on this channel. We want them to fail. Because their goal is to catch tornado. We don't want tornadoes. Yeah, Bryce is back from Jamaica. Yeah, I think he came back last Friday. Yeah, you can see this little camera, this little H here. That is the Has cam. It is right there on that leading edge. Still. An updated view. It's cool where it tells you where it's looking on the bottom. A nice little addition. You have evergreens in northern Alabama. Pine trees. I don't know if they're evergreens or not. I'm not really a treeologist. Canadian fire tornado that could get rated EF4, EF5. I didn't hear about it, but that would not surprise me one bit. They have some absolutely massive fires out there. Not all locations are right on Hascam. They should be. Pretty sure they are. And this storm that's popping up over here near Lobbleville and Centerville is starting to get its act a little bit back, or a little bit better here, a little bit more together. And then back over here near Livingston and Cookville, watching these storms. Definitely some heavier rain and maybe a couple instances of thunder and lightning. Kind of the same thing can be said up here to the north near Scottsville, Cave City and Horse Cave, heading towards Columbia, Russell Springs, and Jamestown. We'll do a broad scale view here for you guys. This is the only thing that's going to fire. I mean, we should get more storms to the south according to our models and according to our atmospheric dynamics. We have actually a decent amount of forcing. It's not a whole lot, but enough to support a couple more storms in this area. Is that hail? Should be hail, yeah. In the purple is the hail. Like the things that are blinking on the screen, the colors that are blinking, that should be where the hail is at. And south of Kingston Springs, and also probably in Kingston Springs, probably up to 1 inch hail, maybe a little bit bigger than that. So we just got an extension of the severe thunderstorm warning into Nashville, Bellevue, Brentwood, Nolensville, and La Vergne. And that is going to be for 1.5 inch hail. So yeah, they did up this hail to 1.5 inches. So that's kind of what we were thinking here. Ping pong ball sized hail is now possible with this storm, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. If you live over there, I think most likely southern Nashville here. Looks like southern Nashville's going to get the worst of it. The Lobelville, Tennessee storm is severe. Why isn't it showing up as such? Oh, you mean, oh, just based off of radar? Let me see. Let me see. Decent cloud tops. Yeah, this is probably severe by now. I agree with Help. Help thinks this is a severe storm. It's not severe warned yet, but you can see on our vertically integrated liquid that our hail is probably up to quarter-sized hail by now. So that'll be probably north and east of Lobbleville, heading towards Whitfield. So that's probably severe at this point. But they're probably like typing it up or just waiting to see if it's going to sustain that severity. Wow, look at Storm Chaser Zach's view. I think he's on the southern side of our Bellevue storm now. He's in Burns, Tennessee, and you can kind of see the southern edge of that shelf from the back. Super dark clouds sneaking up on us. Yep. Yeah, if you live south of Nashville, you're definitely going to probably get the worst of this storm here. And again, the threat for this storm is 1.5 inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. In terms of velocities, we are not seeing really any tornado threat right now. We've had very broad circulation in this storm, but we're keeping an eye on it. Thankfully, all the like just the radar presentation of this storm in velocities and in the reflectivity is kind of indicating that our storm is outflow dominant. So as of right now, still mainly just a wind threat, but definitely don't want to be outside, as 1.5 inch hail will hurt and could potentially put little cracks or dents into your car. Brendan, Southwest Nashville just called, said the sky looks mean. Yeah, I bet you it does. Let me see if we have any radar Omega cams closer to Nashville. We have this cam, University of Tennessee. Oh yeah, look at that. It is looking a little bit mean out there. You can see Nashville in the distance, the Batman building also in the distance as well. But yeah, looking a little mean out there, and some thunder there on the left side as well. Our storm, I think, I don't know which way this is facing, but if it's back towards downtown, it's probably facing more to the north and east. Yeah, our strongest portion of the storm though is going to be like back over it in this direction, probably not in view of this camera. I will let you know when it gets here. Storm is heading towards you. All right, let me know. Storm's getting slammed in the inflow. Let's see what the merger does to it. The merger's not going to really help it. Really, when a storm is outflow dominant, mergers really usually don't help, especially in like a shear environment right now. When you have like a higher shear environment, then, you know, it doesn't really matter what the line segment does. You can still get little brief tornadoes, but as of right now, there's not really a whole lot of wind shear, and you can tell, especially with velocities, our outflow is surged pretty much all the way out to here, but we do still have some broad circulation, but nothing like looking overly tornadic right now. Keep my eye on this storm down here near Lobbleville, though. Definitely can tell that there is some stronger winds aloft pushing into this storm. So might have to eventually keep an eye on this guy as well. But the thing is, the wind shear back down here is even weaker than it is up here. Our strongest wind shear is actually up in this area, but instability is not up there. So our instability is like down here, right? Or actually a little bit further. Like our instability is like right in this area where it's favorable for tornadic activity. Once these storms move out of this area, they're really not going to be able to sustain much tornadic activity. So unless our instability builds out over here, which is unlikely given the fact that we're going to be going into nighttime by that time, I am struggling to understand why we have a tornado risk over here. But maybe they're just being overly cautious. They do tend to do that, especially in Tennessee and Kentucky specifically. But I really do feel like our main tornado threat will probably be just south. You know, right as we get into a little bit further into the nighttime, we see a little bit more of that lower level wind shear pickup. So I'm thinking like Franklin, Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Columbia, like whatever these storms end up doing, probably we'll have to keep our eye on it. But again, wind shear is not too strong. It could pick up as we go into the nighttime. Let me come over here and show you guys what I'm talking about. So if we come over here to our lower level wind shear, you can see we're only in about 25 knots, which is about as low as you can get to really even be notable for a tornado threat. But you can see as we go into the nighttime hours, that shear will pick up to 30 knots, right? So we're talking like 2, 4, 6 hours from now, the wind shear does pick up. But look what our instability does in that time. Where our line is, it's going to be sitting in 500 joules per kilogram. And that wind shear, I don't think it's going to be enough to push a lot of those storms over the edge. So again, we're kind of misaligned right now, but if you get a storm that just taps into the right storm interactions, you could definitely make a case for a tornado today. Kind of like what this storm was trying to do just for a brief moment, where it started to rotate a little bit before it quickly went outflow dominant, which, you know, is what you would tend to see given the fact that our wind vectors aloft are like this and our wind vectors below it is kind of like this. They're more parallel. You know, when you're looking for more of like a sustained supercellular tornado threat, you're looking for more perpendicularity. And we really don't have that right now. So that should tend to favor outflow dominance storms. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking that we'll probably see most of, but you never know. You know, you get a favorable merger and then all of a sudden you have a tornado. So that's why we are live. But I wouldn't be like super you know, scared if you live in this area, if you're under this tornado risk. I don't think we're going to have a super active day. Just subscribe. Thank you. I appreciate that. What do I think about Gray in Corbin, Kentucky? Corbin, Kentucky. I think you guys will be all right. Yeah, I'm not really worried. I'm really not even that worried about, you know, southern Kentucky, to be honest. So, but, you know, the wind shear is going to be higher up there. So maybe like a higher wind shear, lower Cape environment, maybe could eke out like a super brief tornado. Storms may be getting going in southern Alabama. Yeah, we can check that out. Yeah, we do have some storms down there. See, back here, back in a little bit further to the south, we have a completely different kind of environment down there. It's pretty interesting. We do have like a little shortwave trough down here, and we have a lot more backing at the surface, more perpendicularity down here, but a lot less wind shear. We really don't have much wind shear here at all, but because of how perpendicular our winds are, we have a little bit more vorticity and a little bit more SRH, which is storm relative helicity. Just a little bit more, but it's not like elevated to the point to where I'm concerned about it. But could we get like a brief little spin up down here? Yeah, it's theoretically possible, but they're definitely not going to put a tornado watch down there. Clarksville's looking good. All this activity is happening to your south, so I think you guys are good to go for the rest of the night. More worried about like Franklin, Smyrna, Columbia, Lawrenceburg, and Lewisburg right now. Looks like our heavy rain and some hail potentially is making its way into southern Nashville right now. Check out our radar Omega camera here in the University of Tennessee. Oh, wow. A couple of lightning flashes there from the left side of the screen. Has there been a tornado yet? There has not, no. And we haven't really ever been close to one yet. We haven't had any close calls or anything on radar yet that's been like, oh, wow, we might get something soon. Is Corinth going to get hit by a tornado? Impossible to tell you the exact answer to that, but I can check. Is that Mississippi or Tennessee? I know there's a couple of Corinths. Nashville's skyline is growing incredibly fast. Is it? Y'all getting new buildings out there? Batman building? Yeah, right there. That's the Batman building. See how it kind of looks like bat wing or bat ears from like the Batman costume. Mississippi. I don't think Mississippi's gonna have much of a threat. No. You guys aren't in a tornado threat. You know, yeah, I would say maybe a severe weather threat if our line builds in fast enough, but our current model guidance is that it should build in after Florence and then be a severe and maybe a small tornado threat for like Hazel Green and Huntsville. Any concerns for Greensville or Greensburg? Sorry, Greensburg. Kentucky. No, not really. I mean, definitely some heavy rain is coming, but in terms of like a severe or even a tornado threat, not really worried about up there. All right, heaviest hail is now coming into Bellevue. Next is going to be Forest Hill and Brentwood. Rotation still looking completely unorganized, which is great news there. Looking very much like just a damaging wind threat with that storm right now. But that's not what I meant. There we go. This is in Fairview, Tennessee, which is currently behind our storm. How fast is our storm moving? It seems like our storm chasers are struggling to keep up with this storm. 35 miles per hour, which just must not be good a good road network. What does Sullivan look like? Sullivan. County. Not New Hampshire. Looking good. Looking good. But if you're in higher elevation, definitely could get some flurries soon. Not really worried about. Could get some rain, maybe some small chances for thunder. Oh my gosh. Imagine trying to spot a tornado in here. Look at this road. It's completely covered in leaves. This is classic southeast chasing terrain.
Probably blind and going to light. Yeah, don't want to find a little clear spot right here.
Franklin, yeah, you're good for now. Not seeing any swirling clouds or any indications of, you know, strong rotation near Franklin. You do have a definitely a wind bag coming your way, or, you know, 60-mile-per-hour winds heading your way. Maybe some hail of up to 1.5-inch hail, but not really seeing much of a tornado threat. Definitely a severe thunderstorm threat. It's going to get pretty loud. Wow. Look at this on Rob's stream. A tree fell and hit this bridge. Just based on what happened on the top side, though, that must have been a debris, a diseased tree, because it splattered onto that bridge. It didn't just like fall. You can see like the top half is just it just shattered like it was glass. It was probably like one of those trees that's like got like that was dead and like had a bunch of mold in it. Yeah, this is just behind our storm. Probably somewhere near, yeah, just to the west of Bellevue. Thank you, Dylan. Most of Tennessee is like this, yeah. Same with northern Alabama. It's just trees. Trees and bridges. Trees, bridges, cities, and small hills. That is the southeast chase terrain. And very tall trees for that. For that matter. Looks like firewood. I mean, not really. You gotta dry it out. But yeah, dead trees are great for firewood when they're dried out. Super dead and rotted? Absolutely. I mean, you can just tell by how it hit the bridge that it's rotted tree. Which is a good sign, actually. You really think about it, that it's the dead and rotted trees that are falling and not like the ones that are, you know, alive, because that means the winds weren't overly strong. But it absolutely exploded onto that bridge. That is for sure. Station northwest of Greenville, Alabama. What? Oh, down to the south. Oops. Oh yeah, a couple little areas here. Interesting. A couple little areas of some broad rotations starting to develop here south of Fort Deposit. They're south of Montgomery near Greenville, Alabama. Probably worth keeping an eye on that. Thanks for letting me know, help. How's the Nashville cell looking? Looks like we prophesized. Start using prophesized and prophecy instead of prediction. It looks like as prophesized, the storm, the worst parts of this storm has gone south of Nashville, but still could get some pretty heavy rain in like downtown Nashville. Seems like southern Nashville is getting it like the worst near Brentwood and Forest Hills. Is Brentwood still considered Nashville? They burn too fast. That is true. Yeah, you definitely want some, you know, non-rotted wood for like a longer fire. Prophecy sounds cooler than forecasted or predicted, doesn't it? Yeah, Now you can definitely still see our outflow boundary is well out ahead of where our storm is at this moment. It looks dangerous, but we definitely still have a stout outflow boundary. That's not really an inflow boundary at all. It's just our storm's got a inflow looking shape. Good news for Pennsylvania. For what? Like weather news? For Pennsylvania, watching for snow. Like up in this area. Not really talking about much storm activity, but one thing to do note, that I should note for Pennsylvania is the wind. Don't get windy. Today, going into the tonight, especially over there northeastern Pennsylvania, also into New York and near Buffalo off the lake. That'll clear out by tomorrow. And then it'll probably get windy again as our next system tries to make its way through. Which I wonder, anything happening up here yet? Not yet. Go to a composite view. Oh yeah, look at that low pressure system swirling up there. Can anybody tell me where the center of this storm is? Yeah, this is that system that's going to come down further to the south and eventually show us maybe some snow, maybe some mixed pre-ship initially, and then eventually could drop some snow there in Michigan before we get that backside of it where we're going to get some lake effect snow with those way cooler temperatures to move in. Does I'm trying to figure out. I guess the national radar doesn't have winter radar. Need to fix that for winter. Yeah, generally for Pennsylvania, just some rain, and then the wind is going to continue, and then it should calm down. Wind's going to stay going for a pretty long time in the higher elevations there in northeastern Pennsylvania, though. Okay, well, this looks interesting. That just went from outflow dominant to inflow dominant in like a couple of scans. And we actually have a velocity couplet here near Barry's Chapel, south of Harpeth Hills. Near South Barry Chapel Road. Interesting. Does seem like we might actually be getting an inflow into our storm. We got to watch this pretty closely now. Looking a little bit more classic in terms of a supercell here south of Brentwood. Could maybe even get a tornado warning on this. So if you live in south of Brentwood over there near Nolansville, keep your eye on this storm. I got your DMs open on the side. You don't have to tell me to look at the DMs. I'll see it. Weather forecast calling for 1 to 2 inches of snow this weekend in lower Michigan. Yeah. I see it. Oh, you did that on purpose to piss me off. Okay. Well, look at this. This is what he's shouting at me to do. Yeah, no, it looks interesting from the terminal and also from like the regular radar, both in the same area there near Barry's Chapel. So we are getting a little bit of rotation in our storm now. Let me see where all of our storm chasers are. Are any of them going to be able to intercept this? It looks like Tornado Pagey is the closest. They're just south of that velocity couplet. About to head into Franklin right now. Just got an update. Looks like we now have that 1.5 inch hail that is near Forest Hills and Brentwood has officially been observed. So we have observed ping pong ball sized hail and observed 60-mile-per-hour winds near Brentwood. That is a little loud. Let me turn that down. Pad. Yeah. I mean, all of our storm chasers have been in just heavy traffic almost the entire time. This is typically what happens in Tennessee. Don't know why, especially on I-65, it gets really bad. You get just like a tiny bit of sprinkling of rain and like everything like just goes to Trafficville in Tennessee. This is Zach, who's in Fairview, which is I think still behind our storm here. Got our latest scan in. Let's check in on it. It looks like the rotation has quickly broadened out again. There still is a little couplet there near Highgate. Whoa. Yeah, I mean, that could be a tornado there, but that could all, it's not really circular. That could also very well just be leaves. It's not really a very tight couplet. Could be like a very weak tornado or just a wind gust that picked up some leaves there. But pretty interesting. We do have a little bit of a CC drop there, which is indicating that we have things in the air that are bigger than rain, but at the same time, as we've been seeing multiple times on these Storm Chaser streams, we are in fall in the southeast. It's going to be hard to confirm. And with that weak of a velocity signature, it's kind of hard to believe that that's a tornado, but it technically could be one, theoretically. But if it was one, it'd be very weak, and it probably won't do like any damage except knock down some weak trees. Maybe, you know, if you're in like a mobile home, I would try to seek some sturdier shelter just in case it is one of those weak tornadoes. But yeah, not inspiring a whole lot of confidence that that is a tornado. It looks more like leaves, if you were to ask me. But I would get sheltered to place in Highgate just in case it is like a weak tornado. Terminal radar. Yeah, I mean, terminal radar does have a velocity couplet there as well, but again, very weak velocity couplet. So we got some more trees down potentially here. Oh yeah, look at this. Guys, not all correlation coefficients mean on the ground. Again, there's a bunch of leaves that these storms are picking up. That velocity couplet isn't very strong. So you can't be 100% certain that it's on the ground, but I would take shelter just in case it is a weak tornado on the ground. I think that's the best way to handle it, but it's probably just a strong gust that's picking up leaves. That's my opinion on it. But it could also be a weak tornado. So because we can't completely rule out that that's not a tornado, I would seek shelter. It's not tornado warned, probably for the exact same reason of my thinking. But if you want to, there in Brentwood Point and Cool Springs and near Nolensville, Tennessee, you can take shelter. Yeah, you see it went away the next scan too. So yeah, probably just leaves. If it was a stronger velocity couplet, I would be more convinced, but it's not a strong velocity couplet. I mean, we're talking about 12 miles per hour that way. And then there was like 12, like that would be a, what would that theoretically, that would be a tornado with 20-mile-per-hour winds. So that's why I'm skeptical. You don't really hear of a tornado rated for 20-mile-per-hour winds very often. But what you do see a lot in the fall here in the southeast is winds that pick up leaves. And they can pick up a lot of leaves like we've been seeing. The winds haven't been like 80-mile-per-hour winds by any means, but we've been seeing these wind gusts come through and pick up a bunch of leaves. That's, in my opinion, that's probably what just happened there. I don't see enough evidence to jump to a yeah, that was 100% a tornado. But hey, maybe it was like a very weak one. Probably will never get confirmed though. It's feeding on its own storm scale stuff, which is interesting. Yeah, certainly is interesting. It's not a very strong environment, but it's strong enough for this storm to at least produce some ping pong ball sized hail. Leafnado. Hey, those exist on the leading edges of these outflow boundaries. Yes, that is true, Twilight. Yes. And their feed is up here. So Tornado Pagey is with her future hubby. And they are just behind this storm, unfortunately stuck in traffic. They do not have a view on this storm right now. Clouds look threatening in Murfreesboro. Yeah. That's one thing we have been seeing a lot with these storms is that they have some pretty dark and menacing looking clouds. Where's Murfreesboro? Yeah. You guys are just to the south and east of this storm. Looks like you guys are going to get a close call with it. It's either going to go right into you or not. And then these storms further behind will also eventually come through there. Winds just picked up and the birds are fleeing. Yeah, you'll also start to see some wind as well and some leaves. Man, still a pretty large tree down over here on Rob McVeigh's screen here. Thanks for verifying. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, basically we had a pretty strong surge of wind there, which led to some rotation. But again, not very strong rotation. Very, very weak rotation. And we're pretty close to the radar, too. So we have a pretty good accurate depiction here of what the storm is doing. That's a pretty big tree down there, though. Look at that. I wonder if that one's rotted, too. Hey, if you're gonna get any rotation come over you, it's the best kind is the weak ones. Probably gonna repeat that process continuously. Maybe. And we still have some broad rotation on it. Still very weak broad rotation. And how you can determine that is just like by what the colors are. You know, if you're in these like darker reds and darker greens, like we had earlier when we saw that most likely leaf signature on CC, likely what happened there was, you know, like because of the just how weak that rotation was, indicates that, you know, definitely not too threatening of a storm. But I don't know. I mean, we do have some pretty solid kinematics here that this storm is trying to tap into, but that are not trying to tap into, but that are hurting the storm, I should say, in terms of being outflow dominant most of its life. But yeah, I mean, you could maybe still get a small spin up. I do think if we see something today, it'll be like a small spin up type storm. RG5, why did you at me and say nothing? Every Freiburger sounds like a good second channel name. I don't know. I have enough with my boomer brain trying to keep up with just one channel. I don't like all these other people that have like multiple social medias. I am convinced that they don't keep up with all that themselves. They have like a media manager or somebody posting for them. Is that line going to grow to the south? Yes, it should. According to our models, it should grow all the way into like Athens and Huntsville by the time we get into around 10 to 11 p.m. Oh, to check Fort Deposit. Gotcha. Let me check it. Yeah, we've had some broad circulations out here. Yeah, still some broad circulation over here south and east of Fort Deposit. Maybe a little bit tighter there, but still pretty darn weak. Still watching for that weak tornado potential down here. Not impossible for sure. And you can definitely see some of these storms are already trying to rotate, but they're a little bit far away from the radar there. So we might be seeing a little bit of contamination. All right, latest here. Looks like we're not getting as serious as a hail signal anymore. I'm wondering if our hail is taking a little bit of a break, but we probably still have upwards to 1-inch hail heading into Lavergne and Nolensville here with our storm, and 60-mile-per-hour winds have been observed in our storm. So continue to be indoors and away from windows as this storm continues to push through, moving to the south and east at 45 miles per hour. So our storm is also speeding up a little bit. Gainsborough, yeah, you'll have to tell me the state, me myself. We could see storms fire in northeast Mississippi. No, I mean it's technically possible. Technically possible, but our latest models here, I'll go show you guys instead of just saying it. Come over to HRRR. Our latest models have been indicating that our storms will struggle to fire until later, like 10 p.m. down here in our further southern mode. And I think that kind of lines up with what we're seeing on the mesoscale analysis as well. Our forcing is mainly like up in this area, pretty weak further down in the south. So, and that should pick up as the shear picks up later on in the night. And that will be more like, you know, in between that 9 and 11 p.m. time frame back over here for like southern Tennessee going into northern Alabama. Thank you, Jamie, for subscribing. Thank you so much. A violent tornado occurred in Brazil. Really? That is not the place where I think tornado. Yeah, a lot of damage there. Wow. Do they have tornado warnings in Brazil? Or storm shelters? I was going to say, hopefully the warning got out, but I'm not even sure if they have an infrastructure for that. Not too knowledgeable. What's the forecast for White House, Tennessee? Let me check. White House, Tennessee. It's like just wind and rain, maybe some small hail. Around 450 SRH. Oh my gosh, 1.5 cape in place. Yeah, that'll definitely do it in terms of significant. The latest scan here in terms of our velocities looks like we're back into an outflow dominated storm right now, but just like we saw earlier, that could change on a dime. So just be weather aware still, but mainly damaging winds at least, and some hail heading into Nolansville. Could be anywhere from an inch hail to 1.5 inch hail. Come check back over here with Rob McVeigh or McBay. There's been some decent trees down over in this area, so I've been monitoring his progress through these woods. Go check back with Tornado Pagey. She's in Franklin, Tennessee.
Yes, snowing soon. We may be, we're probably going to be covering snow tomorrow even.
Yeah, starting probably tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and then again on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Maybe a bit of a break mid-late week, and then another system looks to roll through.
Yes. Probably the biggest story out of all of this will not be, like, even out of Tennessee, the biggest story might be those snowflakes and the cold rather than what happens tonight. Unless these storms can really get organized back over here near Fairview. Still remains to be seen. Am I covering snow? Yes, we will be covering snow. Just not every little snowstorm. Yeah, this storm is looking pretty uninteresting right now. Other than that hail and wind. How bad is it going to be in Gainsborough area? Not sure what state you're talking about. Kind of nice to just chill. Yeah, we'll see. Not a big fan of snow lives, to be honest, because you're kind of just sitting there like, hey, snow's falling. You know, not like everybody didn't already know that before I came on live. I'm not really giving them much information. They didn't already know, and it's not like it's really helping anybody, like saving lives. Unless it's like a big snowstorm, like a blizzard, then, you know, I usually go live for those. Gainsboro, Tennessee. Let me see where that is. Yeah, probably gonna be north of the worst stuff, to be honest. It's not doing much here now. Yeah, the worst is past your area. Another little line is gonna be coming through again. Oh, looks like we got some flooding, maybe. Look at this. Oh yeah, look at this bridge area is flooded over.
I like that. We're gonna cross it.
Wow. I think he said he's gonna cross it. Yeah, that water's over the bridge. Yep, he is gonna go right through it, I think. Maybe?
You come through first, and then I'll go, and that'll break the water flow. It's about 6 inches deep.
No, that threat's passed, Criv.
All right, I'm gonna back up, let you go first. You want to hug the left side. Never do that, guys. Don't never do that. Don't ever.
I agree. I was surprised he did that. I was waiting for him to say something. But yeah, do not go over a bridge like that. New severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County, Tennessee, Rutherford County, and Williamson County in Tennessee. That is going to be for 1 inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. I'm assuming that's an extension here. Yeah, looks like Smyrna, Murfreesboro, Lacassas, Canesville, Florence, Milton, and Overall. Is that a legit town name there? Blackman, Tennessee. All right. Fair enough. Oh, wow. Look at this. Shelf cloud here on Zach's view. Look at that. This is near Thompson Station, Tennessee. Our first actual view of the storm. Let me see where Thompson Station is. I would assume is near Trayune and Almaville. Yeah, it's just south of this storm. And this is the storm that is moving into Murfreesboro with 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Must be nice.
This is the only severe thunderstorm warning in the entirety of the United States. By the way, the only one there is. Is this storm going to strengthen? Probably not. If I were to imagine, it would probably weaken more than anything. But we'll see. I just don't foresee the instability getting any stronger to the east of these storms. And the wind shear would definitely have to increase in order to keep me worried about any sort of tornado threat. I usually check right around where the mesocyclone typically forms, which is typically in the southern side of the storm, like the southwestern side. That's where I usually look for rotations, and every now and then I'll go up into different levels of the atmosphere depending on the elevation around the storm. But it's kind of flat over here with minimal hills, so we don't really have to look higher into elevation yet. If these storms were in eastern Tennessee, we would be looking in higher elevations. We have got a thunderstorm report damage, wind damage of some trees down near Highway 431 east of Bellevue, by the way. Thank you, Help, for sending that in. It's possible. I still don't think so. You're scared? How broad is the rotation? It's very broad. Not tornadic right now. Very broad circulation. No real areas of tight circulation yet, but our tighter, strong rotation on this storm. We're keeping an eye on it every scan. Next in line is going to be Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Again, beyond any tornado threat that could materialize today. Our severe thunderstorm warning with this storm is 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Then back over here in Nashville, we have another area of heavier rain and precipitation coming through, but all of that, as of right now, is non-tornadic, thankfully. And all these other storms that are trying to develop are really having a hard go at it. Wow, look at this view. That is dark and ominous. Tornado in Brazil was bad, like bad. Yeah, I've seen some pictures out of it. It does not look good, that's for sure. Let's see if I can make this a tad bit brighter so we can see it just a little bit better. And thank you, Dylan, for the 199. Thank you so much. There's no need to freak out, Draconis.
Yeah, it's super dark.
No need to freak out yet. We'll let you know when it's time to freak out. But You know, it looks bad, but 1-inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds, you will 100% survive that kind of storm as long as you are indoors. There's footage. Can you at me on that footage, Fred? I haven't seen that yet. Yeah, latest scan, still very outflow dominated storm right now. You make an argument that that's broad circulation back in there. I don't have Discord up right now. It bogs my computer down. Sent me a video of the tornado in Brazil. Let me see. Oh my gosh. It just looks like a wall cloud. I didn't even see a tornado in that video, Tornado Explorer. I couldn't see it actually touching the ground. Almost looks like a Boeing segment. Nah, kind of. I mean, not really. I mean, you do have some strong winds along the leading edge, but it's more of an outflow boundary right now. Boeing segments are usually associated with linear line, and we don't really have too much of a linear line. We kind of have like two storms, I think, interacting in this area. It's a big old mess behind here. Check over here near Shady Grove. Yeah, these storms down here could technically have some tornado threat. I'm still watching them, but so far so good. They haven't really been able to mature. Just behind the trees. Yeah, could be. Is that a hail core on the bottom cam? Most likely there could be some hail in there. I don't think he's near the hail core though. I think the hail core would be more near Smyrna if there is still one in this storm. Yeah, I hear you, Tornado Explorer. I just, you know how I am when it comes to confirming things. If I don't see it, I can't say for sure. Is it going to get weaker or stronger? It looks like it's getting weaker. Seems to be moving out of that instability and becoming more outflow dominant. And so it definitely seems to be getting weaker at the moment. Well, I'm sure it is. I mean, just given the damage, I know that they had a tornado on the ground. I can't tell if that's like a video of the wall cloud before the tornado formed, or if that's like a picture or a video of while the tornado's on the ground and it was just behind the trees. All right, latest scan has come in again. Don't have the latest velocities yet. We're still waiting for that. Could have just been instance before touchdown. Could have been. I'm liking how discreet the ones to the south is. Yeah, okay. There's the latest radar scan. Yeah, still mainly just a outflow dominated line here. No areas of strong rotation really to note at all inside of our storm. A little bit of an inflow trying to develop there, but it looks like it's getting undercut by that outflow. And these storms to the south are pretty discreet, but again, you know, we're not in like some sort of super volatile environment. Pretty weak shear near these storms, but you know, got to monitor them like we were monitoring this one. You know, you could get some funky interactions and it could get pretty close to being able to try to produce. does the future look like for Murfreesboro? Just this storm and then these storms after that. Probably going to be getting some decent rain for like the next hour or two. I'd love to see my forecasts on Jupiter. I don't even know what kind of weather is even on Jupiter. I know they have thunder in Jupiter. There is lightning in Jupiter. I know that for sure. So we just got an update on our severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like they are keeping it going for another hour. And they're still saying the storm contains 1 inch hail, 60-mile-per-hour winds. Still your run-of-the-mill average severe thunderstorm. Definitely just want to be indoors and away from windows here in Blackman. Overall, Murfreesboro, Lacassas, Milton, Canesville, Noreen, and Readyville as the storm approaches. Got a new radar scan just came in. Storm is getting closer to Blackman now. We'll wait for that new velocity scan. Should come in at any moment. Cat 70 hurricanes. 5,000 mile per hour wind speeds. Yeah, boy. I don't think we ever got that on planet Earth. I don't think anything would survive. It's basically a bomb. You'll be all right. Where do you live, Draconis? I can tell you right now, this is not looking like a very tornadic storm. It's very outflow dominant. So if you're worried about that, and you live in like Murfreesboro, I wouldn't be overly worried. Are these storms heading towards Cookville? Not really. Cookville's up here. Eventually you're going to get this stuff back over here near Goodlettsville. But that's not going to really be tornadic. Just going to be some heavy rain. Might not even get severe thunderstorms out of it. Yay. Glad to hear that, Lauren. You know, it's funny. The storms up in Nashville have a worse environment than Northeast Mississippi. Yeah, they do. But also less instability than Mississippi. But more forcing. What do you mean, like worse environment in terms of like more dangerous, or like worse as in terms of less dangerous? Appreciate the coverage, but got to head off now. Take care, everyone. All right. No problem. Yeah, thankfully it wasn't very active today. Still watching these storms down over here, though. We'll see what these guys can do. You mean like some big snowstorms there in New Hampshire, Rusty? Well, I mean, there's going to be multiple rounds of heavy rain, but yeah, the main severe weather should be on the leading edge here. Because after these storms go through, there's really not a whole lot of instability to happen behind this guy. You ready for snow? I hope you get some again this year. Y'all got a pretty nice one last year. And so did I got a pretty nice one, and so did the beach. Never thought I'd say that. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a surface inversion start to form on our storms now. And yeah, this one in particular is moving out of our better instability. So that's probably why this thing is becoming less organized and strong. But these ones back here are still in about 1,000 joules per kilogram. But also a weaker of a shear environment with these guys. Storm relative velocity, though, is around 200, which is decent. So definitely got to keep an eye on these guys just in case. You got some snow, you can have it. I don't really want it, to be honest. I'm usually good for a good like 1 or 2 snowfalls, but I don't want it to be like snowing all the time. I don't think I could live in like the Northeast. Hey, Friday nights. Yeah. Yeah. Just tell them to be careful, you know, especially as it gets into nighttime. There could definitely be some dead trees around. We've had some damage reports out here of some trees down. So definitely tell them to take it slow. Looks like Tennessee Storm Chasers is in a windstorm now. Getting some of that wind. Like his service is struggling though. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh wow.
Oh, there's some wind. Like that.
Yeah, looks like the service is a little too low there. Checking us on our other chasers. Rog McBay is still chasing the storms from behind.
Goes away too. So
Looks like Tornado Pagey is also out of position here.
It was a good storm, though.
it was a good storm.
Yeah, like I said, I don't see ourselves being live very long. And you know what? We might be getting close to the end of the live stream if all of these storms come out of the instability. We shall see. When does the fall winter tornado season kick in? Usually in December and January. And we start to get those really big troughs come in. Like usually in October and November, we get some decent troughs. Like this one that's coming in is pretty decent, but it doesn't really have a whole lot of moisture because this storm is going to just sweep all whatever moisture is going to be there out of the way. So, but yeah, usually when you get the bigger troughs, you know, our Gulf of Mexico is going to be plenty hot. I do foresee some activity eventually. Yeah, it's usually in like December and January. And then second severe weather season really starts to calm down as you get into February. And then you get an uptick again as you get into March when regular severe weather season. Here comes our latest radar scan. Let's see what's happening. Storm is still approaching Murfreesboro and looking quite unhealthy. Still an outflow boundary here, about to push into Murfreesboro here. So mainly just a damaging wind threat. Maybe some heftier hail over here near Canesville and Lacassas. Would say if there is 1 inch hail in this storm, it'd probably be up there. The latest scan out here, maybe a little bit of broad circulation developing over here near Williamsport, but nothing to be concerned about yet near Spring Hill, south of Franklin there in Tennessee. Like we're getting a view here again from Zach, the storm chaser. Holy fat storm. What does that mean? You fat shaming a storm? What is wrong with you? It's all water weight. Literally. Where is this in? This is in Tennessee. This is in the old Tennessee, land of the Titans. Land of the traffic when it slightly rains. Land of the 2-inch snow apocalypses. Yeah, further up north, we're just not seeing anything. The instability up there is just not high enough. Definitely questionable here and here in terms of our tornado risk. Thanks for noticing you. Sure. a lot of damage in Brazil. My goodness. Ready for cooler temps? Well, you're going to be getting them soon. Your wish will be granted. It's been funny seeing like how people have been like, oh, we're about to get brutal cold. It's like, we're only going to get down into like the 20s, bro. I hate it so much. Winter is my least favorite season. I hate it. Everybody like they hype up snow maps from like, I've literally been seeing like legit meteorologists talk about snow maps like 300 hours out to like 900 hours out. It's just a mess. I barely even feel like commenting on it anymore. Like I love getting snow. I like going live for like when there's actually like something going on for like snow stuff, but like before it all happens, it's just maddening from like a weather forecasting perspective. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna friggin' lie to you guys, but people were calling this a huge storm, and it's just like frustrating. Is it weakening? Yeah, it's weakening for sure. Definitely not as strong, but according to Zach's stream, we still have some pretty heavy gusts, potentially up to 60 miles per hour still. You can see that our 60 mile per hour winds have gone from observed to radar indicated, so we haven't had a report of that in a while. Yeah, these storms seem to be getting seem to be in a traffic jam themselves. See, they're all kind of close together over there near Spring Hill. Y'all heard about the how like airports aren't like running anymore? They're like doing ground stops at different airports because of the shutdown. Like right before the holidays. It's crazy. And the next morning, 2 inches, just a light dusting. Yeah. Can we also talk about how unnecessarily blobby news radars are? Like the public doesn't need to be that simplified, I swear. Well, there is a common thought process to become as famous as possible. You need to treat your audience as dumb as possible. I don't know if it's true, but I have heard that theory before. Obviously, I don't do it. Which might be why I struggle. Because the people that, you know, are just wanting to hear, hey, red radar bad coming towards you, instead get shear directional shear cape instability joules per kilogram talk. That's crazy. It's not necessarily a crazy theory when you think about it, because like, although from my perspective, you know, I know everything that I'm talking about. Somebody that lives in Murfreesboro that's never thought about weather might need it to be explained to them in that way. You know, red blob bad and it's coming towards you. That's pretty simplified and makes sense to even somebody that doesn't understand weather or what any of this is. We would like to meet in the middle. I would like to teach to the middle. That's kind of how I approach it. It's like, if somebody doesn't understand it and they ask a question about it, I am more than happy to answer it and get you somewhat on the same page. The storm needs to burn out. Dude, you are fat shaming our storm, which is totally fine. If we're going to bully anybody, it's got to be a storm, right? Everybody put your favorite, or everybody try to diss this storm in chat. Go ahead. We'll pick the best one. Maybe some broad rotation here near Battleground Estates, but it is just not concerning right now. Is blue blob bad? Only in winter. A failure against supercells? Okay. Not bad, not bad. Storm needs to throw it back. No, why did I read that? Storm needs to throw it back. That's not a diss. That's just harassment. Sexually harassing a thunderstorm. I guess. No, even that is just not even in the it's like it towards a storm. I don't even think that's okay. You stupid thunderhead. Okay, I like that one. That storm is so fat, it's its own zip code. Dang. Yeah, this storm's about to shrivel up after that one. A disappointment to Supercell kind. Okay. What are my thoughts on the Parkersburg? I don't have thoughts on it. Honestly, I don't really think about tornado history too much. I'm not really obsessed with tornadoes. I'm not like one of those kind of weather peeps. I don't watch like Tornado TRX that much. I'm more obsessed with just keeping people safe and forecasting. Seeing them live though is freaking scary. So I do storm chase every now and then. I don't do it to see a tornado. I just do it to see storm. The storm took too many psychedelics. Okay. So you're calling the storm a drug addict, which is, I guess, you know, fair enough. A storm is so poor it couldn't even use corn for humidity. Dang. Okay. Jeez Louise coming in with a straight gas. Storm is so fat it made El Reno tornado jealous. Well, technically, in comparison to a storm, the El Reno tornado was still technically pretty small. Yeah, this is falling apart. Like drastically. I guess I was right at the beginning of the stream. There's no confidence in today's threat. I mean, you can make the argument, which is why they put the tornado watch up, but we'll wait and see. Maybe something changes. I just don't see it. I'm looking at the mesoscale analysis, and the thermodynamics are not improving. They're going the opposite way. Storm has disappointed its ancestors. This storm is so fat, it never even produced a donut hole because it ate it before. I don't know. The storms suck. There you go. Basic, but I like it. It's straight to the point. The storm has a massive forehead. Holy moly. Storm so ugly, Medusa turned to stone. Dang. That's crazy. If anybody ever said that to me, I would just never leave my house again. It didn't matter if it's true or not. That would just hit too hard. Storm is like your hairline. It's breaking apart. Okay. Storm couldn't get a W even if it was the only letter ever. Dang. Storm is so massive, McDonald's said free hamburgers for life in this storm. For this storm because it's such a fatty. That's not the best one, but you know, it's a good try. Good try. You could say the storm is so fat if it produced a tornado, it would only hit a McDonald's because it was so fat. But that also implies that it would have to hit McDonald's for the joke to be real. The McDonald's gonna go broke. Yeah. The storm is like the government, always in the wrong and shut down. That could have gone somewhere. You know, you could have gone somewhere with that. And where you went with it wasn't terrible, but yeah, by the way, the reason why we're dissing storms is because there's really not much going on right now. The severe thunderstorm warning is probably sub-severe in most parts of the storm, except for probably like over here near Statesville, where we still potentially have quarter-sized hail about to move into Auburn town, but it's getting a little bit spaghettified at the moment, and we're not really seeing any areas of dangerous rotation, thankfully. So we're just kind of like doing stuff. The storm is so fat, it's dying from its fatness. All right. That goes in the same category as this storm suck. The storm has nothing on Murfreesboro. There you go, Draconis. Okay. You see, maybe making fun of a storm makes it easier to deal with as it comes through. This storm is so weak, it can't even lift rain. That's why it's falling. Storm needs to hit the gym. Storm has diabetes. What? Okay. The storm wears extra medium shirts. What? How's that even a diss? Storm probably has plans, but felt the seasonal depression and went to take a nap. There you go. It's not really, yeah, you're right. It's not really a diss, but it's like, it makes the storm more relatable. Let's check other places. Yeah, I mean, we are, might be it. I don't know. These storms over here near Spring Hill are really struggling to get their act together. Still got red on the northeast side. Yeah, Nashville's getting another little bout of heavy rain. Back over here near South Nashville, though, another little storm might try to work its way over there. But it shouldn't really be much because all the instability is pretty much sapped out of the area since these storms have rolled through. Storm probably has low self-esteem. Now it does, now that everyone's making fun of it. The storm is so weak, it made Evan Freiberger in chat make fun of it for 10 minutes. There you go. The storm's just a failure, is what the general opinion is. No class. Hey, dang. Chad's just spitting bars. He said this storm is like a fire drill. No class. That a rap song. Storms, I don't know. You know, to be honest, the storms are really struggling to fire further to the south. It's making me maybe even question the Alabama threat. Like, storms should have been at least trying to attempt to fire by now near like Clifton and Savannah. And they are not. Starting to move out of Murfreesboro? Not yet. It's not quite in Murfreesboro. Unless you're in like northern Murfreesboro, you're probably getting hit by it. But you're about to get to probably the main show by this storm back here. The storm actually ended up getting spaghettified by the shear, and all that rain is really falling, you know, in the northern portion of Murfreesboro. Never even made it down into southern Murfreesboro yet. Kind of taking its time. If you put this in motion, it looked like it was going right at it, and then you can see how it gets kind of spread out. That's that shear kind of pulling our storm apart due to that weak instability. Storm so sad it made your depression look like nothing. Dang. You must have really bad depression. That's like a double diss. It disses you, but it didn't also disses the storm, because that means it's like really sad. Had a couple big supercells rolling over the Mississippi Gulf Coast. You got excited for a second? Yeah, you got to watch out, man. It is hard to get like a legitimate tornado. It's not impossible, but it's hard to get a legitimate tornado event in like anywhere north of the Gulf Coast in winter. It's hard to trust. Well, of course, Livy, you do. That's why your diss hurt the storm, is because you also, you know, if you had no depression, then the storm wouldn't be sad. It would be happy. Whatever it is that's getting you down, I do hope it passes. And thank you, Lil Cam 51, for becoming a WimD member. Thank you so much. You're watching while at work. Hopefully I don't get you fired. Not much to report, just heavy rain really from Mount Pleasant through Columbia and Eagleville and North Murfreesboro. I got a feeling we might even see this severe thunderstorm warning expire. You're watching while sleeping? What? Impossible. Dude's got Wi-Fi in his dreams. What do I think for the Dunlap and Pikeville storm? Let me see. Dunlap, Pikeville. Is that in Kentucky? There's a Dunlap in Tennessee. Is that where you're talking about? Let me just see where Pikeville is. Pikeville, Tennessee. Yeah. I really don't think the tornado threat's going to last to you guys. Our instability is going to go away. We are going to see stronger shear, but it's not like one of those shear environments where we're going to have, because typically, like if you are in like 40 to 70 knots of lower level shear and you have around 500 joules per kilogram, you know, you can still get little brief tornadoes in that environment. And sometimes every now and then strong tornadoes, but we're talking about 500 joules per kilogram with like 25 to 30 knots of shear in the lower levels, which is not really the kind of environment that would produce tornadoes. So I'm really not concerned about the eastern part of this tornado watch. I'm more concerned about these cells right now if they can mature, but the forcing does not seem to be strong enough. And there's just a lot of traffic going on, a lot of little cells popping around each other, which isn't too favorable. So could see this environment just get capped out, and we could be like, we could already be at the end of the tornado threat. We just don't know it yet. I want to watch a little bit more. Storm is super mid. Yes. Storm so gross, even Muck from Pokemon was disgusted. What is Muck? Oh yeah, that's a diss. I love how this storm just like insta busted. It barely tried to maybe produce a Leafnado and then just completely fell apart. How long have we been live? Only for 2 hours. Which is good for Tennessee. And thank you, Ben, for the 5. Go get a coffee. Nah, I don't need a coffee. I'll be up all night. I'll take it. I'll take that for tomorrow, though. Thank you. Storm has no nuggies. Storm's so bad, it's not even worthy of your duck, duck, goose. Oh, facts. It's hard to be worthy of that, but it is true. No nuggies, not even one. And brought them down with it. Dang. Honestly, you know, this storm, all this storm's problem is it can really be traced back to Mother Nature, right? It's mother. It's genetic. Probably should call child care services because this storm is so effed up. It looks like the storm had a stroke or something. It kind of does. If you put it like honestly, something happened where this storm just like really something bad happened to that storm. It looks like it went through a wood chipper. It looked like something earlier, I promise, but it is now not looking like much. Look at this. All right, the tornado in Rio Bonito was likely violent with apparent casualties reported. Yeah, I'll have to look at that more. I've been hearing a lot of that today. It's in Brazil. There's a violent tornado in Brazil, apparently. And there goes our severe thunderstorm warning. We now have 0 severe thunderstorm warnings. Still watching this little storm. It seems like it might be trying to do something. Maybe? I don't see any velocities to back that up, but it's really only a matter of time before these storms move into that crappier instability as well. And we're going to see it. There's basically a line right here of good instability and bad instability. And once those storms hit that, that's going to be it. Just like what happened with that one. That one was a formidable storm. Lazy eye storm. Yeah. This is a millennial storm. Brad Arnold is on that storm. Wow. Nashville, Tennessee is no longer under tornado watch. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. We already knew that, though. Tornado threat from basically here up is done. Maybe these guys over here near Columbia might end up doing something. Maybe. Back in my day, has to. So Springfield is going to hit South Murfreesboro. Like these storms over here near Blackman are going to come into Murfreesboro. And it's going to be some rain. Maybe a little bit of wind. Are any of our storm chasers near the storm anymore? Yeah, this is what it's like on the leading edge. This is probably the kind of part of the storm that's going to actually go into Murfreesboro. Could Sunday be interesting? Nothing on my radar too big about Sunday. After this moves through, I mean, it's not looking overly interesting. All right, well, I guess I'm just gonna end my live stream unless something happens, or until something happens, we'll come back on. But I mean, there's just nothing happening, folks. You know, but it was fun hanging out with you guys. Thankfully, we haven't gotten anything too serious out of this storm yet. We might have had like, there is I would say a smaller chance that we had a brief tornado. I'm still thinking that was probably a Leafnado. That's still my current thoughts on that. Or just some leaves getting blown up by some wind. Whatever it was extremely weak. But there was some downed trees. So, but yeah, we will, I will come back on if anything else happens, but it does kind of seem like our environment is not really, it's not really there. So we'll come back on if something improves. If not, then I'll see you guys, not tomorrow, but the next day for another forecast. Unless something big changes about the snow, which I doubt it. I think the models are pretty much locked in at this point. Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already, subscribe and yeah, we will we'll be back on if need be. Like this video, 6, 7. Yeah, you know, all the younger generation is going to be saying 6, 7 until they learn about that 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, y'all have a good rest of your night. Peace.